theory, yes, they are random. What I would say is FedEx doesn't necessarily, it's not at a set time every year. Everyone doesn't get it. But there's also no criteria given by FedEx as to why they chose you. And what we're seeing is a lot of people, especially right now, are in that first year or at the end of a first year as a contractor, you're getting one of those payroll audits. And really the purpose of these is they're trying to make sure that you're paying your drivers correctly. And really what they care about is that you're paying overtime correctly. There has been, lots of different things that have happened in the FedEx space where they've seen some contractors that didn't pay correctly in a way where they essentially weren't paying overtime. Now, the thing to know is that if you're driving in over 10,000 pound vehicles, you do not have to pay overtime. But if you're in under 10,000 pound vehicles, you do. So where that comes in on this audit is they're going to look at what types of vehicles you have. How are you paying your people? Are you paying them daily rates or hourly? And are you tracking those hours in a way that they can agree with? And then from there, if the questions continue, they're going to want to see if you're paying, a daily rate or hourly, did you calculate overtime correctly and pay them correctly if they were in an under 10,000 pound vehicle? So that's really a lot of the main focus of that payroll audit. And then the other side of it is that they want to make sure that if all of your drivers that you had throughout the year, you paid through a W-2, that you paid correctly. And so what may sometimes happen in those payroll audits is they may come to you with a list of names of people that they're not seeing on your payroll, they're not seeing on your W-2s, but they did see on the scanners. So that's just something to be aware of, is the payroll audit is looking to try to make sure you are paying your people correctly and that you paid everyone who worked for you and that you didn't, send a Venmo or a Cash App. So those are the things that they're trying to look for. If you have questions on that, if you're going through one or about to go through one, reach out to our team and we can help there.
I did have a contractor that came to me in the recent past. And one thing I would recommend if you guys are currently in the space and you have a fleet that's mixed of some vehicles that are over 10,000 and some that are under 10,000, try to keep the same couple of guys on those over 10,000 pound vehicles, because what will happen is if you mitigate them or mix them up into the smaller trucks, it becomes a recording and reporting nightmare for you to try to decipher how many hours they were in the vehicle that was over 10,000 versus the under one. And it becomes very difficult to make sure you're accurately paying those overtime hours. So just a little inside baseball information there. I would really recommend you guys try and keep those drivers consistent in the weight class vehicle there.
Yeah, and the real letter of the law is if they drive for even one day in a week in an under 10,000 pound vehicle, then they do have to be paid overtime. So that is a really important note, and that's why it's if it's best you could just keep the same 2 or 3 people in those vehicles. The other note is if you have a salaried employee like a manager that's above a certain amount in pay, they often are not subject to those overtime laws. So without going too far into it, there's some state nuances as well. So as you're getting into a payroll audit or as you're worried about properly setting up your payroll, it is always worth your time and your money to talk to a wage and hour attorney for your state to make sure that any state nuance is also accounted for in how you're structuring your payroll.